legacy where people can say, this guy changed American soccer. Okay, here's the deal. This game is 3-on-3.
Sadway radio. That's Sadway.
Who we playing? The local crew. This local crew, they haven't lost since 1996. They beat everyone who showed up. The guys who play in jeans, the always skins. Honestly, respect. The techers, the trash talks, even the bruisers. Anyone, anytime, they would take them down. Doesn't seem real. It's 100% true. Mostly.
FIFA World Cup Talks is presented by Lay's.
And now it is finally here.
It's so into what do you want to chat? Go Jesus. Hey, I'm here. Okay, wait here. Yeah. I'm present. Who's so picture?
The men of the United States on home soil. And 70,000 fans in Los Angeles at the FIFA World Cup, and their first of 3 games in the group stage against Paraguay on a lovely Friday evening in Southern California is underway. The United States and their new shirts of red and white stripes, that's what Paraguay traditionally wears, so they switched to the dark blue. And if you look back at World Cup history for the U.S., what you learn is that any time the U.S. wins or even ties their opening game of 3 in the group stage, they always advance to the knockout round. Anytime they lose their opening game, they've always been eliminated. And so even though there are games to come against Australia and Turkey in the next 2 weeks, there is an inordinate amount of importance on this first game against Paraguay, which has seen its first hard tackle in a matter of 30 seconds in. And Mauricio Pochettino understands the significance of getting off to a good start, but that's where it gets tricky against a Paraguay team. World Cup for the first time since 2010. They ran the gauntlet of South American qualifying. Gustavo Alfaro, their manager, has said, we re-embrace the Paraguayan DNA. Intensity and shutouts. They do not concede many goals. They do not lose many games. They are here to spoil the party tonight. What do we expect in this game?
A lot of that, a lot of competing early on in this match.
Green trying to close it late on Sanabria there off the free kick. Richards beats a loose ball. It's going to flash all the way across. Freeze might have gotten a touch. Osiris on the far side hooks it back in. Richards stabs it away.
This is a team in Paraguay that make more tackles than any other team in South American World Cup qualifying. They are going to be physical in the match. And I can talk about tactics and maybe we'll get into that as this game goes along. But first and foremost, this game is going to be about competing setting that tone early. You saw the U.S. make a strong tackle. Chris Richards had to be aware. I think Freeze did get a touch on that. The near post, but they have a lot of set pieces. And here comes a long throw to start.
This is the specialist for that Coster is the right back. Anthony Robinson heads away. Rising high for the second ball, but it's brought down by Chris Ross of the Vancouver Whitecaps. One of the two MLS players on the field for Paraguay. On the road was the target, but it's man Freeze there again.
Good pressure there from Mulligan up front. I expect as this game settles into a little bit of a rhythm that the U.S. will have more of the possession. Paraguay have no interest. Look, they're going to back up. They play in a very tight block, 4-4-2. They don't want to concede the middle of the field. They want to force the U.S. wide. The U.S. have to make sure that when they have the ball, they take care of the transition moments, but they will have chances.
He's going to get on the end of that one. Knocks it in for Mulligan out of control. It's wide to the goalkeeper, Orlando Hill. But a good early attacking look for the United States.
Weston McKennie can be the joker tonight. Finding space. He can drift in that number 10 position. That time he finds space wide, flicks it off for Mulligan, and just couldn't quite get enough power on the strike. But that's a good early sign. Getting McKennie freed up facing the field. Here he is again.
Just able to keep it, pokes it away. Mulligan onside. Serginho Dest. And now he was in fact offside. So that's the semi-automated offside technology that is electronically basically ruling that yes, indeed, there was an offside there before Hessel Strijkse and our Dutch referee Danny Montely blow the play dead.
Yeah, pretty clearly there, just a step offside. Good early link up though so far. And Weston McKennie's a player you heard the studio highlighting. We've been talking so much about when he played deeper, when he played wide, when he plays the 10. We've seen his club soccer over in Juventus in Italy, and when he's a little bit more free and can find the game, he can be very dangerous with his energy.
Comfortable day. It was quite muggy in the stadium earlier. It's a translucent roof. It basically turns into kind of a greenhouse when the sun is overhead. But the word from Jenny Taft downstairs is that since we came up from the field and the sun fully set behind us, it's very comfortable. You see Gustavo Alfaro took over as coach of this team about the same time Mauricio Pochettino took over for the United States. They've flown their way into this first World Cup in a generation. Tim Ream becoming today the oldest man ever to play at the World Cup for the United States, captaining the team at the age of 38. Chris Richards, beside him, the Alabama native who missed the last World Cup with an injury and was able to be back in practice all week after not playing a game for about a month with an ankle injury.
So interesting setup. You see the bottom right of your screen, Weston McKennie. He's drifting out wide right. And then that just makes Serginho Dest come inside, find the game. I think you're going to see a lot of that from McKennie, trying to be elusive for the midfield too, and Cubas and Bobadilla for Paraguay to try to free him up, get him facing the field, and then more importantly, attracting some defenders. That's the conversation right now with Alfaro and then Miguel Almiron right in front of him saying, look, hey, McKennie's going to drift out. You've got to organize a little bit. So they're very aware early on here, trying to make sure they get Weston McKennie under wraps.
Just flying into that tackle. Scrum of bodies. Dest comes out there with the ball. Poked away from Miguel Almiron for Atlanta United with a big tackle there. Anthony Robinson thought about jumping for that and said backs off at the last second on Cáceres. Now Cáceres trying to get Julio Enciso coming in off an injury a week ago. Cross in, Richards is there in time. Last out of Cáceres for a U.S. throw.
Well, good clearance, but that's the danger, man, and that's what they're looking for. Really, their offense at times is a two-man game. And Tyler Adams is the man that's tasked with trying to track him, and he was with him until that speed from Enciso gets down the line. He gets the cross. He's looking for his strike partner in Sanabria, but another good clearance at that near post from Chris Richards.
Might have been the first time all game Christian Pulisic has touched the ball, and it was very brief. Alonso lobs it forward. Ream threw his body in there just in time in front of Sanabria. can the U.S. go in transition? Weston McKennie. Alex Freeman, nice little cut inside. Here's Christian Pulisic on the ball now. Draws the double team. Splits the double team. Pulisic in the box. Weston
This is just a terrific team move from the U.S. Starting all the way back in their own end. And it's the pass from Alex Freeman that leads Weston McKennie in front of him. Allows him to run with the ball now. Look at that pass. Takes the midfield out of play. McKennie's got options to his right off to cut it back. Get it to your man, Christian Pulisic, who can make things happen. 2v1. No problem. Gets defenders off balance. Slips it to McKennie. He's trying to cross it. Over to Mulligan in the middle, and it's Bobadilla who ends up putting it into his own net. But that is Weston McKennie, and that is Christian Pulisic. We talk about stars making the game for their team. There's your 2 stars, America, and there's your opening goal.
Third fastest the U.S. has ever scored in their World Cup history. First time in 20 years they benefited from an own goal at a World Cup. And we saw with Mexico, and we saw with Canada the other way, the importance of scoring first in these games. How does it change things for the U.S. to get that goal, however it came?
It's a little bit of an X-ray, but what I want to see, and what I expect to see, is this team keep the foot on the gas. Get a really solid start, but yet we've seen Paraguay have a couple of moments in transition. This is a Paraguayan team that is not going to quit. Going 1 goal down in 9 minutes. But for the U.S., this is a game I think they're going to need more than 1 goal. They've controlled it with the ball. They're finding good opportunities to transition forward. So this has been the start that this crowd would have wanted, this team would have wanted, and Mauricio Pochettino would have wanted.
Anthony Robinson for Pulisic. Again for Company. Seems the range tripped up. Deadlock. What he decides to do is he going to go early. The yellow card is Juan Jose Cáceres. Draws the yellow and a dangerous U.S. free kick coming to him.
Dangerous position. And you said a couple of minutes ago that Pulisic hasn't really had to touch the ball, and he hasn't. But it doesn't matter when you get the ball like that, if you have the quality that he does just to bring the game to life. So special. Sees Cáceres going to ground, slips it through his legs, little nutmeg here, just glides past defenders. He's so good on the dribble. He's a player that also relies on a lot of confidence, and that's why he's so important. He scored a goal in the lead up to this, but you see a guy that's playing free and is ready for this moment, and now it's going to be a set piece for the U.S., and I expect this to be Tillman with an in-swinging ball with the right foot.
Big Tillman, 17, Anthony Robinson beside him. Tillman the fake, it's Robinson. Dest didn't quite seem ready for that. Lewis will cycle it around. Freeman, nice little touch to create the space. Hooks it into the middle, body's crashing, bumped along in the air. Tillman brings it down on their own, spins it back, or tries to, falls for Pulisic. Traffic for him, had the attempt blocked. Robinson, first there, U.S. throw. Freeman, one of the players like Matt Freese in goal that's just had a meteoric rise in the last year to be on this field right now. Weston McKennie, early cross. Robinson got a battle in the air there with Diego Gomez.
Yeah, great spot by Robinson. One of the questions I had coming in, John, was how aggressive would the U.S. be when they have the ball? Well, the answer is very. They've got Robinson high on the left, loving the touch from Tillman.
Pulisic, waiting for support, early cross. There by Alderete, but again, like you have
comes when you have numbers in the attack, really they're only defending rebound ratios, because look how deep now Paraguay are. So if you're going to sit back, you're going to play with numbers in the attack. Paraguay cannot get out of their own net. This is excellent counter-pressing, great positions the U.S. are, solid defensively, and more importantly, attacking
Paraguay
It's going to be a foul, though. That was Bobadilla who met Tillman, and Tillman is shaken up from that one. It's a U.S. free kick.
Malik Tillman playing in a deeper role than we've been accustomed to seeing him, both at club and country. But that last match playing deeper against Germany, liked what I saw with his relationship with Tyler Adams, but also when you're playing against a team which is sitting deeper, he has that ability just to jump out of tackles, to create things, to make passes, make things happen. So now all of a sudden you've got Pulisic, Tillman, McKenna.
Pulisic skips away from Gomez, and now Kosser's waiting for him, is defending on a yellow against Christian Pulisic. Adams.
That should be stopped. That was touched by the referee, yeah.
And it is going to be pulled back now by the referee, Danny Montgomery, because the ball touched him and led to a change in possession. I think maybe what he's arguing is he was waiting to see what happened there. President of FIFA, Johnny Infantino, that's the president of Paraguay, on the left of the shot. Looked like the Secretary of State on the right of the shot. Among the dignitaries here this evening in Los Angeles. Pulisic flips it forward. Sort of sends it back out the other way.
These men,
Right there. Be careful because he got more of Sanabria than he did the ball. Gomez being the card as well. So that's two Paraguayan defenders on yellows. Alvaro knocks it down, and Ciso backing off on Elisa first on the deck. Well wide of Matt Freeze's goal.
He took a touch as he got that shot off. Ended up winning the second ball, trying to get Tyler Adams off balance. He does create just a little bit of space. But pretty clear he dragged that wide, and at least on that first look, didn't look like it took any touch off the U.S. Oh, it did actually. Maybe slightest little nick off Tyler Adams' right foot.
There's some pressure there. There's good pressure from Diego Gomez, and Paraguay win the throw high up the field. Mauricio Pochettino all the way outside his technical area. Try to push his players on for that effort there defensively. Adams knocks it out. MLS star for Atlanta United, Andres Cubas, as well out there, the Vancouver Whitecaps. Long throw from Junior Alonso, headed out by Tyler Adams. Just swing and a miss, trying to clear. Almiron draws the contact, told to get up by the referee. And Malaga wins a U.S. throw. Quarter hour in, the U.S. up an own goal right now against Paraguay. Jenny Taft down on the field. You're right near the U.S. bench. What was the reaction like when they scored so early?
Well, John, I'm so close to the U.S. bench. I actually just had a touch when that ball came out here. I'm that close. This is an interesting vantage point, but as expected, absolute elation from the U.S. team after that goal. I did notice something interesting, some frustration from Tyler Adams following the goal. He came over to Mauricio Pochettino. I wish I could get up and get closer to hear what he had to say, but Mauricio Pochettino, hands on his shoulders.
He's going to fall from out of here. Cuts it back in the middle.
nitakwamba kuna beki ni asi
The touch from McKenny leads to Mulligan, just a heavy first touch. Serginho just gets away from him and takes the angle too wide. So now you've got defenders coming across, you've got Hill coming across, and then that means that Tess had to look for the pass as opposed to the shot.
Anthony Robinson to take first quarter of the game for the U.S. Freeman in the back post, pops it back in. McKenny brings it down. Robinson, great spot! Richards! Come off the defender. And And now concern as Richards is down, Alderete is down. And the medical staffs are going to run out here from the respective benches.
Yeah, good recycling of this ball. Comes at the back post, ends up being cleared away by Bobadilla. US on the second ball with McKenny. And now you're recycling at the back post. Can you find space? Richards loves to back up to give himself an opportunity to attack it. He did. But that's a brave header from Alderete. Ends up drawing the foul by getting in front of Chris Richards, who was trying to dunk that one at the back post. And this is something to look for. Some of these set pieces, these corners, these free kicks from the US. They've been working a lot on this in practice, sometimes going short, just trying to find ways to free up these guys at the back post.
Not yet a full hydration break, but an opportunity for an informal one. And players to come across. Alderete is up on his feet. Chris Richards is still down on the ground. As Richards out of your picture is being helped up to a seated position. Jenny, it's a chance for you to finish your thought from a moment ago. Go ahead.
Just very interesting in terms of the body language from Mauricio Pochettino. I mentioned it with Tyler Adams. He was just talking to his captain, Tim Ream there. Obviously positive, but Mauricio all week has been telling me the importance of managing the mental energy of the pressure of this World Cup. He's very calm, and he's trying to make sure his players are feeling the same in this moment, guys.
And that early goal, Jenny, really helps this team with some of that, of how this team was going to start and how are they going to handle the pressure. Some of these players have been waiting for this moment their entire lives. Safe to say they've passed the early test, but one of the big things in talking to Tyler Adams...
The U.S. is defending a man light right now because Richards is on the side. That's why Freeman slid across there to head that ball away.
We talked to Tyler Adams in practice this week, and one of the things he said, look, we went up a goal against Wales in the first half. We let that game slip in the second. We ended up tying that match. How different a World Cup is if you win the first game versus tying or losing. He feels this team is more mature. We'll see how they handle and manage this game as it goes on.
So it's 10v10. Both Alderete and Richards have not yet been allowed back on. Juan Jose Cáceres is a long throw specialist. Here it comes again. There's Tillman heading away. Balogun knocks it down. Couldn't connect with Anthony Robinson, and then goes flying pass on the pump fake. Cáceres stabbed backwards by Reed. Tillman slithers away from Diego Gomez. Someone, I think Balogun was giving someone a piggyback ride out there for a moment. And ends up as a U.S. free kick.
I don't think it was a mutual piggyback. Yeah.
There you go.
Doing a good job using his strength just to shield Cáceres, who's on a yellow card. Gomez, as you said, on a yellow card, so or we thought was initially, but so that was rescinded.
Yeah, that looks like that was an error that we saw on the World Feed broadcast. It does not appear Gustavo Gomez was shown a yellow, just Cáceres. We've got Richards back out, Alderete back out, full strength, 20 minutes gone.
Just get a look at your picture right now. Another variation of a U.S. buildup. So Anthony Robinson's pushed high and wide on the left. Pulisic coming inside. He dropped into a left back position. Now he's floating. I think all by design for Pochettino to free up his key players, keep them active, hard to mark.
So great flick. McKenny couldn't do much with it.
It's another goal kick. Tillman sees U.S. have good possession. We've got good cover defensively. So now he just drifts a little. So he's got a license to run into the back line. That makes Paraguay drop. Now you've got Tyler Adams and Weston McKennie following up the play, trying to get on that ball. Lovely little flick. Just the inventiveness, the freedom in which some of these players are playing with in this structure.
Pressure by Malik Tillman there. And a reminder, we are a minute or two away from the first half hydration break, even though the temperature does not require it. Malik Tillman is limping out of that play. That has been mandated by FIFA this World Cup, rather than some games do and some games don't, because some will definitely need it. Every game will have a hydration break in the middle of each half. The concern right now is Malik Tillman, who is clearly struggling with something out of that prior challenge. So maybe it's good timing for him to have a break coming up and get some treatment. And that'll be one of the themes. How do you go into the break? How do you come out of the break? What sort of tweaks do coaches make? It changes the game. From making it a game of two halves, it's a game of four quarters now at this World Cup.
There's never been a tournament in the history of the World Cups.
Pulisic brings it down from Tim Ream. He's got Robinson for support. Salt late.
The coaches will have as much influence as they will in this tournament. Hydration breaks, all the different opportunities with a 26-man squad, 5 different substitutions. See how, again, Mauricio Pochettino in his first World Cup as a coach handles these moments.
Here's Pulisic. Cáceres on a yellow. Touched him down a bit there. Freedom in the middle for Tillman. Balogun. Tillman. There's just enough there by Alonso to shield McKennie off his run, allowing Kiel to come collect.
That's good defending by Alonso because he's tucked in tight to his center backs, not allowing that lane to develop there for McKennie to run onto. The little combination has been really good. Tillman getting turned, half turn, finding Balogun playing as a point striker. Something we saw with Raul Jimenez in Mexico yesterday. Is just the striker, they want to score goals, but the modern striker at times is asked to do so much more. Back to goal, laying it off, still being available in the box, but also in the build-up. Balogun's done a good job of that so far.
It was well done a moment ago as Richards couldn't get the ball out of the air. Ream and Freeman did well to clean that play up there. Allow Paraguay to get any sort of attacking possession. Appropriately enough, Anthony Robinson on the ball there as George Lucas is being... Well, it wouldn't be George Lucas, would it? Someone who looked like him. Being shown on the screen, it was a lookalike. The lead was to the fact that Anthony's nickname is Jedi, but it sounded better in my head. Well, it would be impressive here with him. Here's Pulisic now at Cáceres. Overhits the cross. And that will be the end of the first quarter of this game, such as it is. This hydration break is powered by Powerade. It comes midway through the first half with the United States enjoying a 1-0 lead over Paraguay, courtesy of the own goal 7 minutes in here in Los Angeles.
What makes soccer the most searched sport in the world? Maybe it's because you only need a ball. Maybe it's because it gives us a reason to believe.
Look at me. I believe you can do this, all right?
Or ask ourselves, can I do that?
That is bicycle kick perfection.
Maybe it's because deep down we all want an excuse to dance. Because for 90 minutes we aren't strangers, just 4 billion fans all speaking the same language.
Car crashes injure over 1 million of us every year because we're human. For over a decade, Waymo's been building a driver that's safer. Statistically, 10 times safer in the cities we serve. Not because humans aren't enough, but because they're everything.
It's our best deal of the season. So switch to Verizon now.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Get 4 new phones for $0. Plus, 4 lines for just $25 per line. Yep, that's right. Get 4 phones for $0. Plus 4 lines for just $25 per line. Don't wait. Offer ends June 17th. Only at Verizon.
Back in Los Angeles, I was right. It was George Lucas.
Yeah, I was going to set you up for it.
They just had him on the world feed and they cut away.
Here's a lesson. Don't ever doubt yourself. Because I don't. All right, look, here's the interesting part of this structure and format with these hydration breaks is now coaches have an opportunity to tweak tactics. And you've seen some of the coaches use it, change formations, change personnel, motivate their players. I think the challenge for the U.S. is, this is something Thierry Henry and I were talking about in the green room ahead of these games, is that sometimes when a team's on top, this hydration break gives them the other team just a chance to come back on. So now the U.S., their challenge is first tackle, get right back into this game, pick up from where they were, and reassert their dominance in the game.
Bill Gates, I'm going to look to you now whenever I do that.
2 for 2.
Interestingly, co-founder of Microsoft with him, Paul Allen, was the reason why this next game exists in Seattle, where the U.S. will play a week from today. Thankfully, we're back to calling the game. So here's the other part of it, though. We saw the U.S. in both of the warm-up games kind of struggle. They lost their edge coming out of the hydration break. How do they keep that from happening? As McKinney, well, first of all, that one's going to find Pulisic there. We'll see. Pulisic running in now. In for Tyler Adams. Great first touch. Still Adams. Bellingham tied Flo Bellingham celebrates. The flag is staying down. It's 2-0 for the United States. And now the flag does indeed come up. So that must have been very tight indeed.
Well, I wondered if Pulisic was maybe offside on this first one. Yes, that was the one. I don't know if it was the one on Mulligan. That one might have been offside as well. And this is the part of this offside technology, and you want to let plays develop. Was Mulligan offside or on? I actually think he might have been offside. It's a nice finish at the back post, but either way, the question here inside his massively was, how did the U.S. keep on the momentum? That's what you do right there. Pick up where you left off. Chris passes, could move, moving off the ball. Crowd cheering the decision, but it is the right one.
Just couldn't get there, although McKinney pumps it forward. Contact there. That was Gustavo Gomez and Flo Bellingham getting tied up. And again, when there's that delay in the call, that is actually decision working. That the on-field officials are told to wait, not necessarily raise the flag immediately, as Alex Freeman is taking a kick.
I wondered if we might see this game start to flare up a little bit, the way it did back in November. These two teams met in a friendly. The U.S. end up winning that 2-1. Freeman was a player that was involved in that version of a fight. Yes, a bench clearing ball. But that was something I also said, even in that moment, was a good sign for this team that they were together and battling.
Ream, Robinson. It was Alex Freeman and Gustavo Gomez right at the end of the game, and they ended up basically wrestling for a ball that was out of play, and it sparked the benches clearing. And Omar Alderete, who's on the field today, he wasn't even in that game. And he started roughing up Freeman in that fracas, and he was shown a red card from the bench, essentially. That was how the last meeting between these teams ended in November in Philadelphia. 2-1 U.S. win. And you can be sure it will be a theme. Paraguay, Australia, Turkey, they all feel that they can physically intimidate this U.S. team, and they are going to attempt to do so. Great ball on Robinson for Pulisic on the run. Pulisic trying to cut it back, and
Yes.
the flag is taken down.
I tell you what, onwards, like I said, I didn't know it. Wow. Wow.